Hamish was early. It was more than an hour before the ship would land, though its passengers would be able to see Io now. Not too clearly, but still. He had originally asked his friends to come to Io. Some of them had. Most remained where they were. Keiko and Marcus had decided to come by ship, though the fighting was over by the time they left Carnath City. They had planned to move out here, transporting everything they owned. They even agreed to stop by Ceres to pack Hamish's things. He had left everything behind when Ceres was struck, even buying a new body. Still a Syrian rat form, though he had decided to go a little taller. Ionians were mostly 1.5 to 2 meters tall, with the spiders also being around 2 to 3 meters long. Not to mention the Jovians standing more than 2 meters. Being less than half a meter was not ideal, so he was now a stately 1.2, around the same height as his uncle and Keiko. The docks were always busy, though recent events throughout the system had ramped up the use of them, making the crowds a dense bustle of activity. Not ideal for him, even at his new height, so he had positioned himself against a wall to reduce the risk of being bumped. He could still see the arrivals board, and his HUD was linked to the civilian satellite network, allowing him to watch the ship as it approached Io. Jupiter would be large from their window now. Even its faint rings would be visible to them. Though he could not see either, Jupiter being 18 degrees below the horizon was out of sight, as were the rings. The starry sky of the galaxy was always visible from the city, never illuminated by the light of Jupiter. A shuttle was unloading a new deluge of passengers, dozens of happy reunions, and hundreds of commuters filling the hall for a few minutes, before it returned to a relative calm, though this was still busy compared to a month ago. The Jovian News Network was being displayed on all the screens, keeping the public aware of the system-wide attacks that have been happening. A counter in the top right of the screens showing the number of confirmed deaths from these attacks. Most were Kraken, but plenty of others had been caught in the middle. They were talking about the grounding of virtually every auto-taxi in the inner system, as dozens of the attacks had been by hacked taxis. They were even recommending that people close their data links to prevent hacking, as the Erisovirus was very skilled at overcoming defences, though that wasn't much comfort to the people that live in the virtual, where 80% of the system's population live, and where attacks are 10 times more common. Io was fortunate to be a moon of Jupiter, the planet with the lowest Kraken population in the entire system, while also being the most populated planet, having more citizens than the Earth and Venus combined, though Io was one of the least populated moons of Jupiter, its natural beauty and entertainment districts making it more of a tourist attraction than a home. It wouldn't be much longer before Keiko and Marcus were in live communication range, though the transport would probably not open its comms. It wouldn't do to have 2,000 people coming from Ceres become part of a suicide missile, so he'd have to wait for them to land before he could greet them. There was one more scheduled landing before they would arrive. He could see it touching down now. In a few minutes another burst of activity would start, so he took the opportunity to use the restroom before it began, slipping through the crowd as quickly as he could manage. By the time he had returned to his waiting spot, the passengers were just arriving at the hall, more reunions and noise filling it. The swarms of passengers were soon gone again, leaving the area a little emptier than before. The news switched suddenly, ending their segment on local economics abruptly, to show the latest news of conflict. A UNS captain, likely infected with the Erisovirus, fired upon and killed a half-dozen Kraken in the clouds of Venus, only to be shot down in retaliation by another Kraken. 188 total dead. The news sent a shudder of concern through the crowd around him, the reporters noting that this pushed the death toll over 50,000 before going on to the subject of escalation. Keiko's transport was coming in to land now. He could see it through the glass roof of the hall, its deceleration thrusters spewing forth a continuous stream of white-hot plasma. Hamish pushed through the crowds looking for some elevation. Climbing onto the back of a bench, he could see over the crowd and hopefully be seen.